Hi, One Lit Teacher here. Today I'd like to give a quick talk on the metaphysical conceit. If you're wondering what is a metaphysical conceit, I'm going to break that down quickly for you. First of all, metaphysical means beyond the physical. This is abstract poetry, and for more information on the definition of metaphysical poetry, watch my YouTube video on metaphysical poetry on One Lit Teacher. A conceit is an extended metaphor, but a metaphysical conceit is an outlandish metaphor, more startling than conceits or extended metaphors in other poetry. A metaphysical conceit is a complex, intricate comparison used as an intellectual device. It integrates the physical and sensory with the abstract spiritual. It is the hallmark of metaphysical poetry. John Donne is famous for his metaphysical conceits. In fact, I've included a few here that are from some of his more famous poems. The flea is one of the most famous metaphysical conceits. It is also a microcosm, which is a device that John Donne liked to use. And that means that the conceit itself is wrapped into this little tiny version of the universe, a flea that has already sucked the blood of both the speaker and his intended lover. And so this is a great conceit. He begins in the first stanza by saying, "Mark but this flea, and mark in this, how little that which thou deniest me is. It sucked me first, and now sucks thee. And in this flea our two bloods mingled be. Thou knowest that this cannot be said a sin, nor shame, nor loss of maidenhead. Yet this enjoys before it woo, and pampered swells with one blood made of two. And this, alas, is more than we would do." And so the flea is the conceit in which the two lovers have already consummated their marriage inside this tiny flea. And John Donne develops the argument into stanza 2 and stanza 3 as well. Perhaps the most famous metaphysical conceit in all of English literature is in the latter third of A Valediction Forbidding Mourning, which is a beautiful, mature love poem by John Donne. And in this poem, he says that he and his lover are only two as stiff twin compasses are two, because she is the fixed foot and he is the foot that will run and make a circle around her and then return. It leans and hearkens after it and grows erect as that comes home. And so in this way, he is assuring or reassuring his lover that he will return, and in fact, that they can never truly be separated. So this is a beautiful conceit in the poem A Valediction Forbidding Mourning by John Donne. So you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between just a regular extended metaphor and a metaphysical conceit? And that's a good question. There's a beautiful extended metaphor in Act 2, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo very famously looks up into the balcony and says, "But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou her maid art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off." So this, of course, is an extended metaphor, and to complicate things a little bit more, it could be considered a Petrarchan conceit. And what I mean by that is it's an extended a metaphor that is also a hyperbole involving some of the typical Petrarchan lover attributes, where the poet will frequently compare the lady to a celestial body, for example, or to diamonds or something else that is rare and that might require the lover to make a pilgrimage. But it's not a metaphysical conceit because it's not this sort of startlingly unique or unusual metaphor. It's one that's used fairly typically in Petrarchan poetry. So a metaphysical conceit, on the other hand, is a lofty and startling intellectual challenge to readers, and you have to sort of understand the conceit before you can unravel the meaning of the poem or the extended argument, which it very frequently a metaphysical poem is. If you've enjoyed this quick explanation of the metaphysical conceit, I hope you will then subscribe to my YouTube channel, One Lit Teacher, for other videos on poetry and all things literature.